Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Awakening Her podcast. How's it going today, my friend? My name is Talia Joy. I'm an author, podcast host, retreat host, bestie in this wild, beautiful, messy journey of self-growth and manifestation and healing and awakening and transformation and all the things. I'm so excited that you're here today. And today we're talking about something that has been foundational. And it's been foundational in my journey for over a decade, but also, if you guys have been listening along, this last year has been insane for me. I've gone through a whole, death and rebirth and rock bottom to crazy highs, and it's been a wild journey. So it's been this grounding aspect has been foundational for me lately as I'm kind of spit out the other side of the rebirth and doing life differently. So I'll get all into that as we go. And I'm not just talking electromagnetic grounding. We are going to talk about that, like what it means, grounded, the earth frequency, all that. But it's the energy, the wisdom, and the tools behind the phrase ground down to rise up. And as I said, it's not just a fluffy metaphor. It's not just go put your feet on the earth and like hope for the best. We're going to really talk about in this episode the neuroscience behind it, the spiritual wisdom, what it actually looks like in real life, and how it's even come into my bigger I don't want to say achievements, but the big things that I've created lately, like the first retreat that I hosted in 2025. I'll get into that a little bit and just how I had to ground to rise and ground to rise, but also my book and as I personally grow and expand and create and my body's shifting and lots of things going on, I'll share how that's been important here. How grounding down to rise up has been really important lately in all of those areas of my life. So it's been a big piece in my own recent transformation, emotionally, mentally, physically, energetically. And sometimes there are those phrases like, if you've been around the block, you've heard me talk about my be the change moment. But sometimes there's those phrases that you've heard over and over, and then all of a sudden it hits you on a deeper level. Like when I had my, oh my goodness, like I need to be the change. It like hit me like I had never heard that quote before. And that's what ground down to rise up is. It's yes, you've heard it. You've probably seen it on a t-shirt or something. You've heard it in yoga perhaps, but there's so much wisdom behind it. And, everything has changed in my life lately as a result of really taking this approach. And I want to talk about in this episode too, how it's a little bit of a more mature approach. And by mature, I don't mean age. I mean, as we grow and evolve, we get a little bit, hopefully, right, more steady, more resilient, or more grounded as we're rising. So I'm going to touch on that as well, because I know that to me, self-growth and manifestation, everything's changed in the last few years as I really look at what do I want for my life and sustainability and stepping into those visions bigger than just the 10K month, the whatever. It's that big girl pants stuff I talk about, but it's not just stepping into something. It's being more sustainable, having my life be more sustainable, more rooted, more healthy, more true, more authentic, right? And this all, comes into what we're talking about today. So I'm really excited. I won't go on and on. Before we dive in though, I just wanted to quickly say my book, The Delicate Art of Transformation, is officially out. If you have not grabbed it, pretty please grab a copy. You're going to love it. This book is your companion through growth, through healing, expansion, becoming. It's honesty. It's deep. There's a framework. It's playful. It'll have you laugh out loud and maybe cry a little bit out loud. So it's really, really good. I've received amazing feedback and I really hope that you enjoy it and grab a copy. And so if you haven't yet, I would be honored if you did. The link is below. Supporting the book really does support me. It supports this show and my work. And it just really means a lot. So thank you so much. And if you feel the nudge to hop on the retreat waitlist, we are having information dropping this week and within the next few days. It's really exciting. We have location, we have dates, we have the cost or the approximate cost. So you can start to really suss out and feel into if it is for you. We're going somewhere warm. This retreat is going to be about accessing the deeper part of you, the soul, the spirit, through the body. So it's rest and relaxation and nourishing food and meditation and nervous system regulation. It's not information and you're taking a course on this week away. We are nourishing the spirit by also nourishing the body. And it's going to be really, really powerful. So get on the retreat waitlist if you want to join me. You guys on the waitlist get first access, you get the best price, all sorts of perks to being on that waitlist. And of course, it doesn't cost anything. Just hop on that. And yeah, exciting things are unfolding very soon. Okay, that's all I got for you. Let's dive into this episode. Take a deep breath. Drop your shoulders, take a sip of water, and let's dive in. All right, so we live in a culture that definitely glorifies going hard, right? Pushing more, doing more, hustling more, rising faster, expanding bigger. And of course, there's truth to that. If you're an Olympic athlete, or if you're building a business, or if you're in the new stages of parenting, or you have a goal of any kind, there is definitely a section or segment of life where it's true that we put in effort. Sometimes you're up late, you're up early, you're in the gym, you're doing, 5,000 push-ups to prepare for something, or, of course, effort is good. And in our mind, especially our ego, we'll get to that in a moment. I don't mean ego in a bad way. I just mean that section of our brain. We glorify, like, okay, if I do 10,000 steps for 5 days, every 5 days, I've actually taking this many steps, and that's that many calories. And our brain loves to think, if I just push really hard, if I just do more, I'm going to expand bigger, I'm going to get there. And again, there's a section of life where that is true. However, that is a young, fiery, all or nothing energy. And sometimes, as I'm saying, that energy works for a season, right? And we can maybe be someone who goes like that for a long time, or they love to hustle. Maybe you're a CEO or you've got a lot going on and you love to hustle. That's great. And we still need to work in our seasons, because that type of energy is not sustainable. There's a reason why, even as humans grow up and then grow older, we kind of chill out as we grow older, right? It's that young, fiery energy that's like building the things and doing the stuff and the manual labor. But as we become more mature, sometimes the physical, may be less. And I don't actually mean physically, because you could be super fit, lifting weights at any age. That's not really what I mean. It's the energy behind it. But we move into wisdom over all or nothing, flailing around, doing all the things. We move more into wisdom because it's sustainable. So this wisdom, or this grounded energy, is different. And that doesn't mean I'm not putting in my 10,000 hours writing my book, or the amount that I put into, yoga or my business or anything that, of course, my family, anything that I pour energy into. It's not about that. It comes from a different place now. And what we're talking about here is this ground down to rise up energy, because just the go, 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 expecting yourself to be spring all the time in spring, it's not sustainable. Grounded energy is different. It's more mature, it's more steady, it's more patient, it's more rooted, but actually, in a lot of ways, more efficient, right? So I want you to think about the contractor that's been doing something, building the same type of house or whatever it is, and maybe a contractor doesn't build, sorry about that, but you get the gist. If someone's been doing something for 20 years and then some new kid comes on the block and they're like, yeah, let's just throw up this and these walls and these walls. And you're like, young buck, chill. We got to pour the concrete, and then we have to do the framing, and then we have to. So there is wisdom in that, because that person who's been doing it for 20 years is probably in the end going to create a better, more efficient product than just the guy who can lift a lot and he's bringing out boards and doing this and doing that. And you're like, oh, wait, that wasn't supposed to be, that type of energy is not always more efficient. So here's the paradox. When you come at something with a grounded energy, you actually rise higher. You stay there longer. And this is true spiritually, biologically, neurologically. I'm glad I got that. I was like, in my mind, neurologically. It's true in real time, right here, right now. Of course, we see it in the tree. I can't help but say any tree, any plant, it needs the big enough root system, or the large enough root system, to sustain however big that tree is going to be. So here on Vancouver Island, we have cedar trees that are like 500 plus years old. Imagine how huge those root systems are. Right? They're not peeny little piddly little roots for this 300-year-old or 5 or 8 or whatever 100-year-old cedar tree. That's just not how it's going to be. And any tree, actually in the beginning, in the sprouting area, right, or any plant really, if you grow sunflowers, same thing, it shoots roots down before and as it sprouts up. It would never sprout up, and then start growing roots. That's not how it works. So when you ground first, you actually rise higher. So scientifically, grounding, when people say like I'm grounding, it usually is about making direct contact with the earth. I'll talk about that in a second. That is an important part of being grounded for sure. But I'm also talking in this episode of the energy of being grounded as you carry out your plans, your goals, your desires. But for the science of it, the earth carries a negative electrical charge that's stable, and that's actually a good thing. That's what we want. When we are grounding, we're actually bringing in more of that negative electrical charge, and that grounds us. Our body has an electrical and electromagnetic system. So when you're quote unquote grounded, your body and the earth are in equilibrium. We're in the same electrical charge. So the earth has brought your ions from overly positive, it sounds funny because in life we want to be positive in our mind, but into a negative electrical charge, and that is what makes us grounded. So our body is not just chemical like hormones and our brain and our enzymes and all this stuff. Underneath all of that is electricity, as everything has, or I'm pretty sure. I'm getting outside of my zone of genius. I'm not sure if every single thing has an electrical transmission, but I feel like it would. Anyway, I know that we do. And our nervous system communicates via electrical impulses, and our heart generates the strongest electromagnetic field in the body. I think I've heard before, again, don't quote me on this one, but it's something about our heart has an electromagnetic field that's double or triple or 10 times or something, even our aura, like our body, which is crazy. The brain also operates on electrical rhythms. Every cell in your body has an electrical charge. You are literally an electromagnetic organism. So I feel like we're all in science-y class here. That's kind of as far as I'm going to go. Beyond that, often we are not grounded and we are disconnected from the earth because we wear very insulated shoes, we live above ground, we sit indoors, we're around, Wi-Fi and phones and screens and artificial EMFs, and we live in chronic stress and all of these other things. And this leads to a buildup of a charge in us. It's a positive charge, which again sounds funny, but it's a buildup of a charge which creates electrical noise in the body. And I know some of you can relate to this when you feel overstimulated, frazzled. I want to say sometimes I say to my husband, like my senses get blown out. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone else, but it even is anxious, scattered. It's not always just emotional, it's electrical. We are ungrounded, which is just so fascinating. So in our brain as well, when our nervous system is activated, when we're doing something new or scary or exciting or expansive, our brain, as we've talked about millions of times on the show before, it interprets that as a threat, right? Not safe, uncomfortable, unknown, not good, even if it's a good thing. So when I first started for real booking the retreat, the reason why I hadn't done it for years previous is because it was too big for my nervous system. I would shut it down. I would self-sabotage. I just wouldn't follow through because it was insanely scary. So even if it's a good thing, like I'm hosting a retreat, these are my dreams, it's still frazzling to the nervous system because it's like, oh my God, can I do it? What if this? What if that? This is just, if anything, it's just outside of my norm, outside of my comfort zone. So growth lives at the edge of the unknown. Growth literally means like we're moving into new territory, right? And the nervous system does not love the unknown. So when we try to expand without grounding, whether we're talking about, the electromagnetic grounding or the overall energy that I'm talking about here of steadying and, staying in your center, when we try to expand without grounding, our body goes into a nervous system response, a sympathetic nervous system response. So that looks like fight or flight or freeze, overwhelm, avoidance, finding reasons it doesn't work out, procrastination. We all do it. That literally is an effect of our nervous system going like, no, no, right? But a lot of times we feel like, oh, I don't have willpower. I'm not strong enough. It's like, no, very often it's a nervous system thing, especially for you. You're no, newbie to growth, to going outside your comfort zone, whether it's emotionally or this or that. It's our nervous system doing it. So then when we're in fight or flight or freeze or whatever, we feel scattered, we feel anxious, overstimulated, exhausted, stuck in overthinking, not moving ourselves forward, but frustrated with that. And it's just this whole cycle. If you know it, you know it, right? So grounding and grounding your energy, which I'll expand on, brings the nervous system back into regulation. It tells the brain, right now, I'm safe. So when I was starting to book the retreat in 2025 and really, hand over the deposit and all the scary stuff, my whole system, I'd be in my house alone going like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, like freaking out, going like, I can't, like everything in me wanted to go, never mind, cancel it all. And I was like, no, I can't. And it was like it's a stress response, even if it's excitement, as we're saying. So what I would do is I would allow myself to feel that. And I would usually dance it out, shake it out, go for a walk, whatever. But I would put my hand on my heart and go like, okay, even though I'm freaking out right now, right now I am safe, right? Because we start to go, oh my God, and our body and our heart's pumping. But right now I'm actually safe. I'm just in my house. I've literally got a cup of tea in front of me, or, I'm safe in my home in a hoodie, like I'm good. So I'd remind the brain, even though this is scary, I'm safe. I can be here. This is moving forward. Yes, it's scary, but I can also be in it. I can move forward. And I would bring myself back down. So sometimes I'll go, or we tend to say in this example, if I say to myself like, oh my God, what if nobody buys and, I lose money and it all is a big failure. Often we want to rebound to the other side. No. People will buy it and it won't be a failure, but that can be an eternal game of ping pong that we're like, yeah, but what about this? No, but it's okay. And so in the middle, the place that actually works is just coming back to center and going, right now I feel scared. But right now I'm also safe. I'm not being chased by a lion. I'm not under threat. Maybe I just need a shower, go for a walk, do a meditation, dance it through, shake it through, growl it through, punch the air, punch a punching bag, go to a fitness class, talk to a friend, cry, roll around on the floor. That's okay. We just process that, right? And it's this telling the brain I am safe. This comforts the parts of your brain. It's called your prefrontal cortex, if I remember properly, but it comforts the part of your brain that is responsible for clarity and decision-making and creativity and leadership. So all those areas of your brain start to come back online, right? Because when I go like, okay, I'm going to call today and put the deposit down, and my brain's like, oh my God, what if this is the worst decision? You can't afford to lose 10,000 to what if this, that, right? And then I start to go, okay, right now I am safe. All of a sudden, the part of my brain, as I breathe and I do a quick BRB, as I've taught some of you, and I take a breath, and you go back into your body, okay. And then the part of your brain that's responsible for decision-making and leadership can step forward, because when I'm going, oh my God, what if nobody, oh my God, that's not the part of my brain that is, the best for decision-making, clarity, leadership of my own life. That's the part of my brain that's freaking out, right? So as I calm myself, it's almost like a dog, like it's okay, shh, you just calm yourself. There is actually nervous system tools where you pet your shoulders, you pet your arms, you can pet your forehead, your face, your chest. It feels really nice, actually. Calm yourself down, and then you can start to make decisions. That's why people say sleep on it, right? Or don't retaliate back with a text right away. Take a second to breathe, to come back to it. And often the next day or after a shower or after a workout, you're like, okay, this is what I mean by grounding. Not just putting your feet on the earth, but coming at life with a grounded energy. And ultimately grounding, or being like, we want to ground down to rise up, it doesn't slow you down. It actually, as I was describing a minute ago, makes you more efficient, more resilient, and more consistent. I think of like a horse that just like runs steadfast. And if you were to look at a horse running, and then even like slow it down, the muscles and the method, and it just keeps going. And in this metaphor, it's almost not about the fastest. It's just efficient and resilient and chugging along, right? It's the energy of a train rather than like a sports car that's just right? We want to be like this train force in our life that is moving forward and making decisions and getting better. So that's this ground down before rising up, before only focusing on rising. We need to take care of ourselves. So to come back to the tree doesn't grow tall by stretching upward first or dominantly. It doesn't just stretch upward. It grows tall because it grows deep. The stronger, the wider the roots, the higher the branches. The more expansive the canopy, the deeper the root system is. Without the roots, it's going to collapse. It's not sustainable. And this is the same for us. As we evolve, as we mature in our journey, whether you're 25 years old or 75 years old, as you mature in your journey and expand, it becomes more important, not less, to ground first before launching forward. I think of that CEO energy of my life. Calm, grounded, making decisions, not rash impulses. Sometimes there are big moves, big investments, big places where you end something or let something go. Big decisions, yes, but less about 1,000 million things and more about that intentional, mature energy that goes the distance. So I'm going to give you more tangible examples, as you know I love to. As we round out the episode, I like to bring it right back down to the ground. But in part of that, my own relationship with grounding, I really did think for a long time it was putting your feet on the earth, right? I have to ground. And if I wasn't putting my feet on the earth, then I wasn't really grounding. If I didn't go outside today as much or didn't touch the tree, hug the tree, connect my heart to the sap of the tree, I don't know. If I wasn't doing all that, then I wasn't grounding, right? And as we're talking about, of course, that's part of it. But what I've learned in my own life now, grounding is about how I move through each level, how I move through my activation, my rising, whether it's booking a retreat or stepping into new levels of health in my body or my mindset or, my emotional wellness. It's really about how I move through that, less about just the big highs and lows, right? Or just the going outside or just doing the thing. It's so much more nuanced now. So as I've been mentioning, when I plan something big like my retreat, my nervous system reacts every time. I'm doing it right now because I'm in the final stages of solidifying the retreat I'm talking about. And so the exact same thing is happening, and it's exciting and it's expansive and it's brave and it's scary. Oh, it's so scary. There's risk. There's vulnerability, there's visibility, there's commitment. It's international. It's a big deal, right? So every time I'm doing this type of thing, as I'm talking about it, you can even probably feel, some of you empaths, I'm like, there we go. The deep breaths I'm talking about. So when this happens, I'll feel energized and then I'll feel scared. And then I feel inspired and then I feel shaky. And then I feel excited, and then I feel like I want to shove everything away and cancel everything and say, never mind. So instead of just pushing through that energy, I pause, just like I did in real time. I'm not editing this, so I just started to feel myself like, oh, and then I took a deep breath so that I can be grounded. And here now, I take a pause, I ground. I let myself feel excitement and fear. I breathe. I move my body, I eat nourishing food, I go into nature, I talk it out with someone safe, and then from that grounded center, and I don't always do all those things, I'm just saying depending on what is needed, but from that grounded center, I take another bold action. And then behind the scenes, I freak out a little bit and go, oh my God, right? And I do the whole thing again, and I breathe, and I go for a walk, or I have a bath, or I do something to shake it up. I'll punch the air, I'll dance it out, I go into nature, I hug a tree, I cry, all these things I'm mentioning. And then, from that grounded center, I take another bold action. I book the dates. I give the credit card information. I announce it to the community. And guess what? Here we go, around and around, right? But this is what our nervous system is meant to do. It's kind of like to think your nervous system won't react is foolish in a way, right? To think like, oh, I just won't react when I'm doing these big things. No, as I just said, growth lives at the edge of discomfort. When you are uncomfortable, your nervous system does what it's designed to do. And it's going to do the same thing if you're under real threat, like something was happening or there was a bear chasing you, same. It's doing what it's meant to do. So we learn. This is why everyone's all about the nervous system tools and the regulation, because we're going to need it the rest of our life. So we ground again. We do something, we react, we ground again, and this is the rhythm. Expand, ground, act, regulate, repeat. Expand, ground, act, regulate, repeat. And it changed everything. That's how I've been able to do these big things that behind the scenes freak me out. Like even the book and the retreat, those things really like scare me in my system because they're so big. So doing this and integrating this has allowed me to actually do the things. And it's changed my relationship as well with my body. When I'm in pain, this recent shedding, releasing of weight and, inflammation and things, I feel like it's just changed the way I see myself. Exercise isn't all or nothing, but I'm going steadily to Monday night yoga. I'm steadily doing things for myself. I'm incrementally looking at getting better at things as far as strength training or whatever it is my body needs, but not in this flaily, like I have to do this and I got to do that. And why didn't I do this? I'm really looking at things from a more grounded and mature place because I, from this place, enjoy life so much more. I'm so much more steady. I'm not so all or nothing. Things feel more clear. Things, even when something's not happening or not working out, I feel like I'm way less. It's like how we swing in emotions in our pendulum, right? Sometimes we're having really bad times or really bad days, and then sometimes it's really good stuff. It's almost like there's less of a swing when it's bad. I can bring myself back. I know my tools. It doesn't mean it's perfect, but I can get to the other side of it now so that I can regulate. And then, when I feel ready, take another action and just keep going. So as we start to wrap up this episode, in real life, grounding doesn't just mean putting your feet on the earth. Really, in essence, it means supporting your system while you upgrade. So whether you're moving through big emotional stuff and you're upgrading, or your business is going through a big upgrade, or relationships, or abundance, or your visions and goals, or your health, it's supporting your system while you upgrade. So it can look like doing fewer things with more intention. It can look like supporting your mind, body, and soul on repeat. It doesn't mean everything every day all the time being perfect. It means cycling through and continuing. Is it my mind that needs love today? Is it my body? Is it my spirit? It's eating warm, nourishing food. It's taking days for someone like me where I don't have anything booked. Things where I'm not jammed in a schedule, that is like, that is not my happy place. So weeks where I don't do interviews, weeks where I have breaks from clients, sometimes months where I take off from anything extra or taking on new people, or just a weekend in my personal life where I plan nothing. That grounds me so much. And then by Monday, I'm like, okay, roll the sleeves up, like let's get to business, instead of trying to do it all the time. So maybe it's taking days where you're not like moving the needle forward. It's almost like if I wasn't going to do something today just because I should, what feels good? What feels nourishing to my body, to my mind? Maybe it's your social life, maybe it's your heart, maybe it is your dreams, but you're asking yourself, what would feel nourishing? What would feel good? So grounding in real life also looks like taking time to be in nature, taking time to go outside even when you're busy and you're slaying it. And maybe you've got all the kids or all the dreams or such a busy schedule with work. Being in nature, taking a moment to see a sunset, staying grounded, taking moments for yourself. And I'm going to say something that all of us will probably not like on some level, just kidding, but taking breaks from your phone. Your phone is so ungrounding. Oh, there could be whole episodes on that. If you're an expert in that, maybe you want to come on here and we'll have a conversation because I'm very curious. But I know when I just actually put down my phone, plug it in a different room, turn it off, whatever, that's the feeling I get. And being away from, and I'm not just talking about text messages with your kids or your family. You know what I'm talking about. The scrolling, the Instagram, our nervous systems, not only the blue lights, but the nervous systems are like, ooh, look, a recipe, and then a true crime thing, and then that friend from high school who's, doing better than me, and then someone who has something I don't have, and then, oh my God, there's starving kids, and our brains are all over the place, and it's so stimulating and so ungrounding. So whether you take an hour in the day that you just put it down, or you practice maybe on a Sunday having very minimal, contact with your phone, or whatever feels comfortable for you, that will help you to stay grounded in your real life. Because something, I didn't plan on saying this, but something I find is I get distracted in my phone, but I'm also in my, in my mind wanting clarity on like, okay, so when should the retreat be? Or what's my next step with this? And so I'm kind of formulating things and planning the future. But when I'm watching a YouTube video or when I'm sucked into something, I'm getting no inspiration. So sometimes in my life, I'm going, oh, what am I going to do with this? Or what am I going to do about that? But if I just turn off my phone and listen to music while I drive instead of a podcast, or if it's about cleaning the house and I was going to put some true crime thing on or something, I just silence, I will receive inspiration and clarity. It's so crazy because when my brain's not sucked into something, whether it's, an Instagram account or it's a mini documentary thing or whatever it is, when my brain is sucked into something, I'm not receiving clarity for myself. So when I choose to be in silence, when I choose to, drive to beautiful music that feels like I just want to like tribally dance on a beach or something, I receive inspiration. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, that has to be the focus of the retreat. Oh, goosebumps. But when I'm listening to something or watching something or whatever, I'm not in that channel. I'm not in that space. So that's just something to consider too. You may, resonate with that. So all these things and, really looking at your life as something that is a marathon, not just a sprint. Your goals, your dreams, it's sustainability. So sometimes there is a time to go hard. Every season has its place, but remembering to look after yourself while you're going. Don't go out in the world while you're starving and, your nervous system stimulated too much and you're overwhelmed and you haven't taken time for you and, you haven't done anything creative in a long time and you're giving out to everyone. Like that is not sustainable. So we need to look at where can we do fewer things with more intention? Where can we look after our body, our mind, our soul from a nourishing place? Taking days where we're not moving the needle forward, taking times when we're not pressuring ourselves to be in the schedule. Where can we be in nature more? Where can we have regulating conversations that are grounding and authentic? Where can we let ourselves rest without guilt or the story of like, I'm not moving forward? Like we all need a good rest day. We all need a day to slowly walk through nature or watch a movie in bed or whatever a rest day is for you, right? Just sit and read with a cup of tea or coffee. Like we all do need that. And that gives us that energy to bust forward. Remember to ground, breathing deeply and often. And so this is one practice that you can do other than, of course, the feet on the earth. But if you take a deep breath, if you can do it along with me right now, take a deep breath. And as you exhale, focus on dropping into your body. If you want to close your eyes, you can. If you're driving or anything else, you definitely don't have to. And then one more breath. Breathe in. And as you exhale, drop into the body. Bring your awareness to the center of your body. Your belly, your core, the right here and now. So even that right there, which was very, very short, before you go into a meeting, before you move forward, if you're feeling overwhelmed or frazzled, it becomes about grounding your own energy first. And then you'll receive more clarity, more forward momentum, more quote unquote willpower. So it's not just doing less, but it's often doing less number of things and more potently doing the things that matter. Less chaos, less scrambling, less forcing, more focus, more follow through, more steadfast energy, more potency. And this is definitely applying right now to my business, to my health, to my relationships, to my body, and everything. All areas of my life are rapidly changing. And it's truly about simplification and regulation, which actually gives me more growth, more sustainable growth. So we don't need more adrenaline fueled transformation. I mean, again, there's a time for Gary Vee and Tony Robbins and go out and do it and action steps. I love that. But we also need grounded expansion. We don't need to outrun our nervous systems. We don't need to should. We don't need to force ourselves. We need to partner with our nervous system, because true growth isn't only and always loud. It's steady. It's embodied. It's rooted. It's real. And when you ground down first, your rising up becomes inevitable. So if you're in a season of growth right now, which I know you all are, you wouldn't be here, let this be your permission slip. You do not need to rush or force or figure it out today or prove anything. You need to nourish, to ground, to regulate, and then intentionally move. And then we do that over and over, rinse and repeat. I am so proud of you. I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. If you've been called to mentorship or the retreat or the book, of course, look in the show notes below. I would love to walk this path with you in one of those ways. I would love to see you in the retreat. It's going to be amazing. And I do have a couple spaces for one-on-one work right now in Q1 of 2026. So very excited if you would like to work together to move you forward. And yeah, if this episode resonated, share it with someone who needs it. Spread the love, get on the retreat wait list, all the things, and make sure to tune into the next episode because it's going to be really good. Beautiful things are coming, my love, and I will see you next time. Bye.